Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. When students hear philosophy, they think of abstract discussions that have nothing to do with our daily lives. So you might think, why would I learn the philosophy of science then? And they're not completely wrong. There are parts of philosophy that are abstract, just like there are parts of science that are like that. Theoretical physics, for example, and even in immunology, you've got epigenetic mathematical modelings to calculate how immune cells change, even though the DNA is not mutated. So that's abstract. I mean, just think of the times when you were in a science lecture and you thought, this topic is so unrelated to my life outside of the class. So science can be abstract. That doesn't mean people shouldn't study science. So similarly, the abstractness of philosophy of science shouldn't stop you from learning it because it depends on who you're learning it with. If you're learning it with me, we'll focus on how to understand science and religion and technology that affect your life and your thoughts today. How do we do that? We're going to use essays that you wrote or contemporary expressions of science like sci-fi movies or TV shows, or students even use animes as well. Essentially, we look at the science issues that you choose, that you care about, and then we discuss them. In private, we close the doors and we're not recording it. So you can be as honest or as controversial as you want. We spend time thinking about science and talking about science in an organized way with logic and wisdom. Because wisdom is how I conceptualize philosophy. So it's hikmah, it's wisdom. Philosophy to me means thinking logically, thinking wisely. And students who have been taking this course have had a great time. For example, I gave students anonymous surveys, so they don't need to reveal their names if they don't want to, so they can be honest. I asked them, should future students take this course? Like you right now, should you take this course? Over 90% of them say yes, absolutely. 7% of them are in the middle. None of them, 0% of them, regret it. And one class even gave a perfect score in their teaching assessment for this course, 5 out of 5. I've never got a perfect score in my other courses. Why do they like this course so much then? One of them said, philosophy of science is giving me, as a science student, a new way to look at things. Before this, I usually see science as a straight line. Now I tend to question why and how things happen. I can relate religious teachings with science and how science developed throughout history. Because in this course, we learn, for example, the historical context, including the religious and mythological perspectives that affect our scientific views. Another one said, it opens your mind about something that you didn't think of before. For example, as a language or linguistic student or science student, um, the reason for this is because I teach philosophy of science to linguistics student as well. So as a linguistic student or as a science student, most of us only spend our time studying something that is only related to our course, our specific program. Yeah, that's the outcome of the second industrial revolution in the late 1800s, like 120 years ago. You just study one field. You don't meander around. If you are a linguistic student, just study phonetics, morphology. Don't study science. Or if you're a science student, microbiology, biochemistry, cell and molecular biology, biotechnology, how dare you study linguistics, right? How dare you study philosophy or religion? Those are not science fields, right? You're wasting time. So that's the appropriate educational philosophy 120 years ago. You just need to you just need to be a specialist at putting on the engine of a car so that other specialists in the assembly line can put on the wheels, the windshield, and other components to make the car. But here's the problem. We're not in the second industrial revolution, which was mass production through specialization. We are in the fourth industrial revolution, which is the fusion of biological and physical and digital sciences and technologies. And with generative AI, for example, a science student can now run a corpus linguistic analysis on the Quran or large historical texts with just a bit of training. And a linguistic student, because they are good at language, they might prompt better than science students using natural language that powered the large language model and use AI augmented machines to run lab tasks with just some initial training that companies can provide. And then later you're confused. Why can't you get a job when you stay within your discipline? I'm not saying learning philosophy of science will get you a job. That's not the primary goal. But it's a step because philosophy of science is a transdisciplinary field. It means you step outside of the box of your discipline and you learn to think logically and wisely from a larger view. So, in your job interview, if a company sees that you are not just technically competent, but you are philosophical, meaning you are wise and logical, and you can think beyond a single discipline, that's valuable. You're not valuable 120 years ago, you're valuable today. You can become the merging force of multiple sciences and disciplines. And even if you're not worried about being wise and logical to get a job, you need it just to not drown in the ocean of information today. We are in the world where, for example, scientific evidence is used to deny the male and female binary. We are in the world where a highly respected scientist is convincing people that
the XXXY chromosomes are insufficient. Because when we wake up in the morning, we exaggerate whatever feature we want to portray the gender of our choice. Suppose no matter my chromosomes, today I feel 80% female, 20% male. I'm gonna put on makeup. I'm gonna do that. Tomorrow I might feel 80% male. I'll remove the makeup and I'll wear a muscle shirt. Why do you care?
or here's another one. What about when a highly influential medical doctor gives scientific evidence that obesity is genetic, that you can't treat obesity with optimum diet and exercise? What do? You don't have a PhD or medical degree like them. Not because you can't have a PhD or an MD, just it's not your path and it's not worth it for you. But how do you deal with the confusion then? How do you choose which opinion to accept when you don't have a PhD in a scientific field that they're talking about? How do you protect your aqidah when science is used by scientists against it? I think that's why students like this course. We explore the foundation of scientific beliefs, what's underneath the hypotheses and experiments and theories. So, if you're interested, check out the links below. Be quick because the class has to be small, so there is a very limited quota for you to get in. At the very least, taking this course is an opportunity to easily get an A to improve your CGPA while having conversations about science and life that make you smarter and wiser. And isn't that why we came to university in the first place? To be smarter and wiser, right? All right, see you in class. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.